Hello, I'm Chris.
And I'm Cherie.
And we are your hosts here at the Mobile Internet Resource Center.
We have been full-time travelers ourselves since 2006, originally starting in an RV, much smaller than this one. And then in the last year, we also now split our time on a motor yacht, traveling North America by intercoastal waterways. So kind of RVing on water.
Half by water, half by wheels, but all nomadic. And staying connected has been absolutely essential for us this entire time.
Not only do we use it, of course, for entertainment, staying in touch with friends and family, planning our travels ahead, we've also always worked online remotely since we hit the road, so it was essential for us for keeping our income coming in.
Yes. So you've been sharing about this for years, since the beginning, over at our blog, technomadia.com, and that all of our sharing kept growing and growing and growing until eventually, well, we wrote a book on the topic.
And then we launched a website and now a YouTube channel. Over at mobileinternetinfo.com, you will find a lot of content about mobile internet connectivity for RVers, cruisers, and other US-based nomads. And this video, we're going to give you a quick overview of the basic options that we use to keep online.
Right, so the three ways that most people get connected is either cellular, Wi-Fi, or satellite. And we're going to give the quick preview of each of those in this video.
And just know, each of these topics, we have full guides that goes into far more depth as you're ready to go deeper. So let's get started. So let's get right to the question that we know you started this video for.
What is the best way to get online? You want the one simple answer, don't you?
The answer is whatever works best at your current location.
So the catch with nomads, any mobile travelers of any sort, is the best option is going to be different everywhere you go. There is not one universal best answer across the continent or across the world. So you've got to do a little bit of combining and assembling pieces.
So the first thing you need to do is assess your needs. How important is mobile internet going to be for you? Is it essential for you? Are you working remotely, homeschooling the kids? Is it just entertainment?
Yeah.
Is it booking reservations and researching our next location?
Do you have a 9-to-5 job where you have to be online at a certain time every day with reliable connectivity, or do you have more flexibility that you can kind of balance your work schedule around your connectivity availability?
Or are you retired and that work thing is out the door anyway?
Lucky you.
We'll get there one day. Also, how are you traveling? Are you going to urban areas where there's going to be great cell phone signal everywhere you go, and even perhaps usable Wi-Fi at the RV parks you go to?
Or are you heading way out into the boonies so far that you're beyond the reach of cellular power lines, not even a light on the horizon?
Or do you like to kind of mix it up? That's what we do. We go to urban areas. We love state parks. We love places where the options are going to be changing on us quite often. So you have to think through how important mobile internet is for you, as well as how you're going to be traveling. How comfortable are you with technology? Do you like to manage enterprise networks,
yes,
or do you like to keep it simple? And what is your budget?
And then how many backup plans are you going to have? Because when plan A, your primary way getting online gets overloaded, you might need to switch to plan B, pull the reserve parachute.
Plan B, you might be running up into data caps, so you can no longer get the speeds you want to stay online.
Plan C, somebody cuts the power to the tower, and suddenly everybody in the area is offline. That actually happens.
Or you accidentally left plan D out and you ran over it with the RV. All this stuff can happen on the road, and you have to decide how important is mobile internet for you, and how bad of a situation is it going to be if you can't get online or one of your options isn't working.
How much redundancy?
So we're going to, unfortunately, no simple answer. And even if there was one simple answer that I could tell you today was the best overall setup, I can almost guarantee you tomorrow there's going to be an announcement somewhere that changes our recommendation.
Right,
but it's also complicated and
exactly
overwhelming, and we know that. So we're going to try to keep this video simple, give you an overview of those options.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Cell phones, cellular, that's one of the best ways to stay connected when you're out on the road.
It is probably the most popular way RVers and cruisers are keeping online now. The speeds have gotten so fast. The carriers have a network coverage across the country, so it is the easiest Not always the cheapest.
And the data plans have gotten more generous around data, but unlimited is still kind of a tricky word to find out ways to get real unlimited data.
So the options are as simple as, of course, using personal hotspot off your smartphone. Many of us have gotten used to doing that. It's a great option as a backup option. Probably not for a primary option for those that are data hungry or using a lot of data where it's reliable. You can use.
We've got, these are our mobile hotspots, also known as MiFis or jetpacks. Those are just marketing terms, but they're all the same thing. This is basically a cell phone without the phone part. It takes the cellular signal and makes a local Wi-Fi hotspot that you can connect up to 15, 20 devices, depending on the model, to something like this.
And then there's more industrial or professional grade stuff where you're doing a cellular embedded router. So basically it's a hotspot on steroids.
With connections and all sorts of stuff you need to do, so a really fancy dedicated system.
We have a guide going over the basic options of smartphones, hotspots, and routers that you can go and learn more about these options at. So besides selecting your equipment, there's also selecting your carrier or carriers.
Now, in the United States, there are really only 4 nationwide carriers: Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint. Any other name you see advertising cellular service, they're usually either a regional carrier with very limited roaming ability, or they're reselling and rebranding service on one of the big 4.
At present time, Verizon has the widest nationwide coverage, and you'll see RVers and cruisers frequently recommend them, but AT&T is a close second. T-Mobile is growing and will continue to grow over the years, and Sprint we consider really only good in urban areas.
Distant 4th place at the moment, but it is always changing. The race between the carriers, particularly as they head towards more advanced technologies, is quite exciting to follow along.
And then, of course, the other challenge is finding a data plan that's going to meet your needs. And the most important thing that you need to know is that cellular carriers are not in the business of being someone's primary home internet network. And those of us frequent travelers who are out on the road where we don't have cable or DSL to plug into, cellular is what we want to use as our home internet. So it is tricky to find data plans that will meet those needs, and you'll have to do some research into the plans that the carriers are offering to make sure they will meet your personal needs.
It's tricky, but doable. So look for the latest and best options.
Usually unlimited plans, and just get used to putting quotes around the words unlimited. It has been redefined over the last couple of years. Are usually the way that most RVers want to go, and we do keep a guide constantly updated with the options at mobileinternetinfo.com/unlimited, so you can go there and get the latest options. Now, beyond plans, it's getting the best signal. You're dealing with wireless here, and wireless can be finicky.
All right, so your options are antennas or boosters. And now, fortunately, a lot of mobile hotspots actually have small antenna ports, and you can directly wire antennas like this is one of our favorites here. Just plug them directly into the hotspot and do wonderful things to improve your signal and your speed.
Right, and then there's also roof-mounted antennas if you want more of a permanent installation. And then there's also boosters like the WeBoost, cel-fi, SureCall, High Boost, Smooth Talkers. There's a whole bunch of boosters on the market. These basically take a signal, they amplify it, and then they distribute it wirelessly for your cellular devices to pick up.
And now the important thing to know is, like, well, boosters work with phones because phones don't have antenna ports, but boosters don't always help the signal. So you've actually got to do a little bit of work. Will it help you in your location or not? Sometimes it slows you down, sometimes it speeds you up. There's not one universal tool. Just buy it and spend money on it and turn it on.
That cellular signal enhancing is a huge topic of its own. We have a full guide at mobileinternetinfo.com/cell-signal, where we go over the things that go into optimizing your cellular data performance. It gets really complicated, and I can quickly overwhelm you with it, but we won't do that here.
You can go from barely detectable to fabulously usable, but you got to do your homework.
All right, so that's an overview of cellular. Using Wi-Fi hotspots, like those you might find at a campground or marina, that's offered with your daily fees.
Now, it seems great. Seems like it's the free connection. Seems like it's the way to go. You just need to spend some money on good gear to get to it. But often, just keep in mind, the Wi-Fi is not going to be what you expect. It's going to overall be a disappointing experience.
Perhaps. Some places do it right. It's just more common than not for it to be too slow for most things you might want to do online. If your needs are simple, it might be all you need. Or it might be a great backup option in case there are no other cellular options in your area. Then you might need to depend on the Wi-Fi. And there is a range of gear that you can get to help you get a better signal to the Wi-Fi network. Just know all it's going to do is reach that signal from further away. It can't improve the actual Wi-Fi network that the campground or marina is providing.
So if you're getting bad Wi-Fi speeds up in the front office, no amount of gear is going to get that back to your RV.
Or get better speeds back up to the RV.
Or onto your boat. So how do you do this? There's gear that you can, simple, cheap, affordable gear that you can put in a window. There's more advanced stuff that goes up on the roof, kind of expensive, all the way up to roof-mounted gear like from WineGuard and Wi-Fi Ranger. That is really, really powerful at bringing in that distant Wi-Fi networks. But again, is it really worth it for you? That's the thing you got to keep in mind with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, is how often in your travels are you going to encounter usable Wi-Fi where it's worth investing in several $100 gear to get a better signal?
And in the future, there's actually combination Wi-Fi cellular gear coming out. So there's some interesting ways to go as well that can kind of leverages both directions.
All right, next, internet from space.
So everybody dreams about satellite internet, being able to stay connected anywhere you've got a view of the southern sky. And indeed, there are some places where it is just like magic.
It's great for those that are really going out into the boonies, way, way, way far away from cellular towers, Wi-Fi networks, and all those other options. But it has a lot of downsides still.
So first off is the gear is you're trying to talk to a satellite that's 23,000 miles over the equator. There's a far, far away, a lot harder to talk to it than a cell tower 10 miles away. So it takes some complicated gear and some very, very precise aim, and maybe around 30-40 minutes of setup time each new location you go to.
And that's big equipment you have to be able to carry on or inside your RV in order to set up at each location. And on marine, it gets even more complicated because your boat's always in motion.
Very tricky.
So it is an option for those that really want to go off into the boonies, and it might make sense for you, but really seriously consider if you can be offline when you go off into the boonies for a little bit, or if you really do need that connectivity,
Yes.
and if you can plan your travels more around where the cellular carriers and the RV parks are going to have options for you.
Right. There are satellite services that are getting better and cheaper, and there's some really cool stuff coming down the pike in the years ahead that will improve things in dramatic ways. But again, the story of satellites is always going to be a little bit better next year and a little bit better next year. One thing to consider though is just if your main goal is just emergency communications, is a basic simple satellite messenger. You're not going to surf the web with something like this, but you can get out quick little text messages asking for help, asking for directions, or letting people know that you're safe.
All right, and just a couple of quick points about satellite that there's a lot of confusion on out there. Satellite TV and satellite internet are very different things. You're not going to get internet service over your dish or DirecTV satellite service. They may sell it as a package, but it is not using the same dish.
Yes, totally separate gear, separate service.
And home stationary satellite service is not mobile. You're not going to be able to pick up that equipment, move it yourself, and set it up again. If you are going to go the satellite route, you're going to need to seek out one of the very few mobile providers that can get you set up with a HughesNet or RV data center, the current two options.
Otherwise, you'll be disappointed because your service will not work, even if you are physically able to aim the dish in a new location.
You'll have to have one of their providers come out and set it up for
Right.
you. So keep those things in mind. They are very different. All right, if you found this video on YouTube, I encourage you to also open up the article that goes along with this at mobileinternetinfo.com/overview. It is kept constantly updated as there's shifts in the industry, so make sure you're getting the full information there.
As this stuff is changing all the time, and it is really, really, we've made it our full-time job keeping on top of this and keeping everyone updated.
Also, subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're constantly putting out little videos with news stories that we're tracking, helping you understand how the changes might apply to you as a mobile traveler, and we're having little guides to give you some tips and hints along the way. We also have a free Facebook group where we field questions for the public. That you can find that at Internet for RVers and Cruisers, and we'll be happy to point you to further information that you might be seeking.
And then, well, we've got a book. So this is all the way now up to our 5th edition of the Mobile Internet Handbook, and we consider this kind of the ultimate primer to just really kind of get yourself coming to grips with all the different options and the terminology and the basics of staying connected.
This book is written for those that are not necessarily tech savvy. So if you're afraid that this stuff is going to intimidate you, I promise you we did our best to keep the techno mumbo jumbo out of it, or at least explaining it. And as you're ready to go deeper, all of our further guides are linked in here so that you can dive in deeper as you are ready.
So yeah, those guides are then at the website, the Mobile Internet Resource Center. They go much more in depth. They're able to be kept constantly updated, and we have so many resources on the website. It's just kind of overwhelming.
And we could not do this without the support of our community. We don't take advertising dollars. We are not sponsored by any company.
And that means we're not beholden to any manufacturer. We are unbiased and trying to basically look out for our readers and our members. And
so Mobile Internet Aficionados is our premium membership, and it is our premium members who fund all of the content that we create, including this video. And for their support, we go further with them. They have Q&A forums. We'll go as deep as they need to go to help them figure out their mobile internet situations.
We have monthly webinars where we'll actually talk to them and do two-way video chats.
And they have access to our product reviews, our field testing results, and our insider analysis of what might be going on in the industry.
Including a lot of alerts and sneak tips and things that are known to them before it gets out to the public.
So if mobile internet is going to be essential for you and your mobile travelers, we encourage you to check out our membership program and come support the work that we're doing here. We sure do appreciate it, and so does the rest of the mobile community.
Stay connected.
May the bandwidth be with you.